Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna be filming a very different video and I'm gonna be filming my eyeshadow palette collection. My favorite videos to watch are hauls and declutters. I know they're very opposite, but those are my favorite videos to watch. But today I wanted to film my eyeshadow palette collection because eyeshadow palettes are my favorite things in a makeup collection or in makeup. Palettes are my favorite, hands down. I hadn't been able to film a video like this because I was traveling a lot and part of my collection was in the US, part of my collection was traveling with me in Antigua. So I just couldn't film a complete collection, and it doesn't make sense for me to film a declutter video either because I really don't have that much to declutter. I do use most of the stuff that I have in my collection. Plus I'm a very proactive and I love organizing and that kind of stuff. So every time I see something that I'm not using or there is something in my collection that I'm not loving, I'm just not enjoying whatsoever, and I don't use it, I just take it out immediately. So I pretty much don't let them pile up. You had a chance to get a look at my collection from the previous clip. I have pretty much piled them by brands. As you can see, I have like ColourPop, Urban Decay, and there's some other ones around them that you cannot see. And I quickly also wanted to mention that whatever I take out of my collection, most of them go to family or friends. Most of them in reality go to my family, especially my mom. Also my sister-in-law enjoys makeup as well. But whatever else it doesn't work for them and I take out of my collection, I save and I take to Cuba for my family and friends in Cuba. I have a couple of people over there that really enjoy makeup. There is really not a lot of makeup available in Cuba, so they really appreciate when I take quality makeup over there. Anyways, I'm gonna stop talking now and let's get on with the video. We are gonna be studying. Where do we start? I don't even know where to start. Since I'm already talking about Cuba, let's start with the Alomar collection palettes. This one is the volume 2 palette and this one is the volume 1. Volume 1 doesn't have a mirror and the volume 2 does have a mirror. But honestly, volume 1 it's by far my favorite palette. And I just realized I've been filming backward. I do need to take a good look at these palettes. So here's my volume 1. I truly do enjoy this palette very much. I love the quality in here and I also love the colors. This one most definitely I would not get rid of. If you don't know, let me give you a couple of swatches. If you don't know, Alomar Cosmetics is owned by a Latina. She is from Cuba. She's from a town that is very close to my hometown. And she's from Alomar, which is why the brand is called Alomar Cosmetics. And you know guys, she's Cuban, so I most definitely, as soon as she came out with this palette, I wanted to support my people. But I truly enjoy the quality of these eyeshadows, as you can see, as well as the colors. I really enjoy the quality and the colors in here, especially the shimmer shadows. You guys, there is a lot of pigment in these shadows. I truly do love this palette. It is my most used from hers. It does not have a mirror, but that does not bother me. I have plenty of mirrors in other palettes, and as I understand, when there is mirrors in palettes, it's actually harder to recycle them. So I do not mind this one not having a mirror whatsoever, but the palettes are very compact. I love them. I do travel with them most of the time. I really do enjoy this one. I also have her volume 2, and I must say that I do not enjoy this one as much as I enjoyed the first palette, the volume 1, but it is truly a gorgeous palette. And as well as the first ones, the shimmers in these palettes are next level, you guys. Look at this. Look at this. Just a light swatch. Just take a look at these shimmers. They are amazing. They're so metallic. They do not emphasize texture on my eyes. They really are gorgeous. I have seen people with darker skin tones using these palettes, especially this one, the volume 2. I saw somebody putting this on her eyes and she has a very beautiful dark skin tone and it looked awesome. It looked amazing. I cannot remember who it was right now, but I do remember that it kind of stuck in my head that that color was beautiful on her skin tone. The colors are a little bit darker, but definitely the pigmentation is just as good. Let me give you a couple of swatches of this one as well. I must admit that I was a little bit surprised when I saw the selection of colors in this palette, but I was not disappointed by any means. They are just as pigmented, but I don't know if there is a difference in formula, but I enjoy the first one much better. If I had to recommend one of the two, it would be definitely the first one, but the second one is just as gorgeous. These shadows are really easy to work with. They're beautiful. As I said already, they're very pigmented, and I'm most definitely very proud of what this brand is doing, especially because, you know, it's my roots. So I will always support this brand, but let me tell you, I don't support it only because it is a Cuban brand. I support it because it really is good. Not only these palettes, but the other stuff that I have tried from them, they really are good. As much as I like one brand, I will definitely be honest, first and foremost with my audience, you guys. I would definitely be honest and tell you what I like and dislike, and so far I have liked everything from this brand. Moving on to one random palette that I have. This is the only palette from this brand that I have, and this is the jollybalm.com palette. This palette is a glitter palette. I love glitter. I must say that already, like I really do love glitter, but I do not use all of these colors by any means. I have used and I have swatched some of them, and I must say that these are very unique, but the formula I find it to be a little bit dry. I mean, there is like gorgeous colors. Look at this green right here. This one is just incredible, and it's an incredible glitter palette, but I find it to be a little bit, the formulation on this one, I find it to be a little bit chunky. I'm not gonna lie, even though they are beautiful. So I'm considering, I haven't decided yet, but I'm considering just getting rid of this palette because I do not use it nearly as much as I should. In the last about 2 years that I've been traveling, I have used this palette probably once or twice, which it's kind of like hard to justify keeping it. It has very unique glitter colors, which is why I keep thinking about it. And I do love glitter, but I have another formula of glitter that since I tried it, it pretty much has replaced this palette. The only reason, the only reason why I still have it is because this palette has a lot of unique colors, like these 3 right here, and there really is a bunch of glitter colors in this compact palette is what I'm trying to say. Even though it's a big palette, it's pretty compact. As you can see, it's very thin. So I keep thinking about it and thinking about it, but I really don't reach for it as much as I should. So I'm gonna put it aside, definitely in my Take to Cuba pile. I really don't think I picked this palette up enough, so I prefer to give it to somebody that would. Let's talk about some random palettes that I have, and one of them is this MAC and Patrick Star collaboration. I do not even know how this is called. Oh, Play With Me eyeshadow. It's a quad, and you guys, I have yet to try this. I have swatched it a million times, but it does not, for some reason, inspire me to go and create a look with it. But I definitely want to try it. I want to keep it and I want to use it because I have never, and this, I think I'm the unicorn on this, but I have not tried any MAC shadow yet, and this is still sitting in my collection and I have not used it. As far as I can see from the swatch, this pink is not very powerful, not very pigmented, but I do not mind that because if I want to use it to blend, it will be an easy shade to do that, whereas if it's too pigmented, sometimes it shows up too much. Especially with this combination of colors, I prefer more toned down shades, even though that blue looks pigmented. But anyways, I have yet to try this. I have not given it a go, and I'm definitely looking forward to. So I cannot give you my opinion on it, but I need to use this already. Another random palette that I have over here is this Marc Jacobs one. This is the Smartorial. It's the 760 Smartorial palette, and I have used this one. It comes with these gorgeous blue shades and grays and a silver one over here. This formula, it's very unique, I must say that, but I have encountered a couple of problems with it. I still like it, I still enjoy it very much. And blue, it's an eyeshadow that definitely is near and dear to my heart. I love my blues, but this shade is very, very, very unique. I do not have any blue like it, but I must say that it disappears a little bit when you blend it out. This formula, it's soft, it's buttery, but as I said, I do think that some of the matte shades blend away once you start blending them in the eye. These are the colors right here. They are definitely unique colors, and I do not own a lot of cool tones because I usually gravitate toward warmer shades or more neutral shades versus cool. I don't know, it's not one look that I like, but I will definitely keep this because I do enjoy this palette, even though it's a little bit hard to work with sometimes, because when you want some of the colors to stay true, you cannot blend too much because, as I said, they pretty much disappear. But I still enjoy this palette very much. I have a palette here from the Balm Cosmetics. It's the only Balm Cosmetics palette that I own, and it's in the Balm of Your Hand Greatest Hits Volume 2. This one is a mix of eyeshadows, like these four are eyeshadows. This one is a highlighter, and this is a bronzer, and then 3 blushes. But pretty much this palette is set up so you can use everything however you want. Like for example, you can use the blushes in your eyes, you also can use the highlighter in your eyes, you can use the bronzer in your eyes. You get my point. I have other face palettes, but I have included this one in here because it has 4 eyeshadows as well. I do not use this palette nearly as much as I should because I find myself gravitating toward other colors, and every time I reach for this palette, it's actually for the face stuff. I like it because it's a nice way to try something from a brand. I actually snatched this up in, I believe it was in Ross, but it was super cheap and it was an awesome color to try this brand. I did not own anything from this brand, and then this palette has like a bunch of products in it all in one, and I must say that is not my absolute most loved formula, but I do enjoy this palette from time to time. Sometimes I take it whenever I travel or I do a quick travel because there is pretty much everything in here. And the only reason why I do not reach more often for this palette is because the choices of eyeshadows are not my typical choices, if you know what I mean. I do enjoy this mauvey pinky shade, but as you can see, did not do a very good swatch. But this one looks, wow, amazing. It has a lot of pigmentation. I swatched the other stuff over here, even though it is very hard to swatch blushes. They don't show up much on the hand, but they show up on your face. Blushes are not as pigmented as shadows, but this is the bronzer. This is the Mary Luminizer highlighter. This, as I understand, is the highlighter that started the whole highlighter craze. I might be wrong on that, don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure that's what started it. This highlighter pretty much initiated the everybody wearing highlighter. I am pretty sure that after this highlighter, every brand started coming out with their own highlighters, and highlighters started becoming more popular. Everybody started wearing highlighters. You get my point. But anyways, these are the 3 blushes over here. They are good. They do last a fair amount on my skin. But as I said, I should reach for this more, but I find myself reaching for it mostly when I travel rather than when I'm using my collection at home. Let me pick something from up here. We're gonna continue with Urban Decay. I'm picking by brand, as you can see. This one is the Urban Decay Backtalk palette. This one, if you don't know, was made because Backtalk is the most popular lipstick shade that Urban Decay has. So they made this palette to complement that shade. And as you can, I do have that lipstick actually, but this palette was a gift. It has this cool design right here where the mirror is magnetic. You can pull it out and use it on its own, but let me set it aside for 1 second. In the palette we can find face products and we can find the eyeshadow palette on this side. I thought it was so cool. This was my first, was it my first? I'm not sure if it was this one or the other one, but I'm pretty sure this was my first Urban Decay palette and I was so excited to try their formula. It is not bad. Let me give you a couple of swatches, but I must say that I have a couple of cons with this palette. I have encountered that Urban Decay doesn't have the most pigmented eyeshadows in the market. I may say that. They are pretty and they are good quality. They last a long time on the eyes, but I must say that I do not find their eyeshadows to be the most pigmented by any means. I'm doing random swatches here, don't mind me. As I was saying, I do not find their eyeshadows to be the most pigmented by any means, but they are pretty. I do enjoy this palette. It was a gift again from my husband. Something else that I have noticed with this palette is that these two shades right here, as you can see, they are very extremely similar. I do not see the need for this palette to have these two shades. Something else that I did not necessarily love is that there is only 1, 2, 3 mattes here, so pretty much not many mattes, and I prefer it in a palette to have more mattes than shimmers, but that's just my liking. I do like a lot of matte options, or like more matte options, because I like to create a gradient with my eyeshadows rather than have a full contrast from one color to the other one. So because of that, I mean, you can place shimmers on your eyes. I'm not opposed to that, and I actually have done it, but I do like the look of mattes in my crease way more than I like shimmers through my crease. Something else that I found that didn't blow me away, I don't know, the face products definitely did not call my attention too much. I cannot see, I have my phone in a setup that I can barely see if you're on frame or not, or if you can see the colors or not, but I think you can see them there. Anyways, the face products did not blow me away because I have a lot of texture on my skin, and this one has a little bit of shimmer, very fine, but it's not a color that I reach for too often. My favorite here was Double Take. It's kind of like the blush that matches the Backtalk shade, and these are shades that I enjoy very much. But these two highlighters, definitely not my favorites. They're good, but they're not my favorites, I gotta admit. Regardless, I still enjoy this palette very much. I love the colors in here. I am aware that there is a lot of people that hated it, but I am not one of them. I definitely do enjoy this palette from time to time. One that I do not care for is the Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics. Now, hear me out. The only reason why I don't care about this palette is solely because of personal preference. I don't know if the light is reflecting there, but it's solely because of personal preference. This palette, it's amazing, it's gorgeous, it has a lot of neutral and cool tone shades. Maybe that's why I don't enjoy it too much, because again, I am not a cool tone kind of girl, but I do enjoy neutrals. Faith right here, I enjoy it very much. I find this palette honestly to be very light, and I must say very lightly pigmented as well. Let me show you what I mean. I'm gonna swatch Nudie, Commando, and Tempted, these first 3 shades over here. I don't have the fairest skin type. I actually have a light skin type, and I'm doing like 2 swatches here, and pretty much you can barely see them on my skin. I find that sometimes when I blend them on my eyes, they kind of disappear, This is not the type of products that I enjoy. The colors don't really call my name, so I'm giving this palette to my mom. She does enjoy less pigmented shadows and more neutral colors, but this is just not me. It's what I'm trying to say. It is a good palette. I remember that I got it on sale when I bought it, and I got it because I thought it would complement my collection very well, because again, I do not own a lot of cool tone shadows just because I don't enjoy them, and I didn't own very many mattes or neutral palettes at the moment when I got these. But you guys, I still don't reach for this. I have reached for it like maybe 3 times in total since I got it, something like that. I don't know, it's just not me. I don't like the pigmentation. Honestly, I do not enjoy the colors either, so I'm sure my mom will like it way more than I will. Actually, I already told her I was gonna give it to her and she was happy, so I'm definitely decluttering this one. And I must say that in my collection, it's not a huge collection, even though it is a decent size collection, but I try to get stuff. I do not like the consumerism. At some point I kind of fell into it, but I stopped doing that because I do not like throwing away money. It doesn't make sense financially anyways. At least that's my opinion. And honestly, now I am pretty much being very selective with what I purchase, and some stuff that I have purchased already I do not get rid of because there is nothing else like it in my collection. So I do like to keep options to do my makeup looks, and not only for my channel. In real life, I actually love creating different looks. I love neutral looks, but I also love my colorful looks. So pretty much I'm one of those people that really varies with the look that they create. I do not create the same look every single time. I don't know why, but I enjoy playing with color very much. I'm playing with my neutrals very much. So again, I'm being very selective with what I buy. Let me know in the comments down below if you want me to explain you what I do to, like, my thought process when I'm gonna buy something, or what I do to successfully really filter what I'm buying. Maybe it could help some of you that are trying to like minimize what you buy or minimize your collection, whatever it might be. Let me know if you want me to do a video explaining you how you could do that too. But the point is that, but anyways, this palette is going to a better home, which is my mom. Let's do Morphe now. That is all the way on that edge. And the first thing that I have from Morphe is the Vault. So this is the second collaboration with Jaclyn Hill, and these are 4 palettes. I'm just explaining in case you're not familiar with these eyeshadow palettes or with Morphe at all. But pretty much it's a series of little palettes that were the continuation of the original palette, and I feel like I should have started with that one because I do own that one, but I will show it to you next, I guess. Let me move some things around so I can show you the 4 of them together, and we can go from there. There we go. I think the 4 of them are on frame. So in essence, these palettes are themed by colors. Like for example, these 2 are definitely warmer palettes, but as you can see, this one is more yellow, gold, and it has brighter or lighter oranges. This one is kind of like a yellowish orange, but this one it's much more, I would say, like red, burgundy, coppery, and these 2 are definitely more cool toned. Now there was a lot of people that had issues with these palettes. As far as I understand, there were inconsistencies in the launches, or like depending on the different badges you will get bad palettes, meaning like some of the shades were patchy. I have used most of the shades on these palettes, and I have not, even though I haven't used them a whole lot, I have swatched them and I have used them on my eyes, and I have not encountered any issues yet. So I guess I got one of the good badges. As far as I know, that issue was fixed as well. But anyways, I bought these 4 palettes because I really enjoy the original. But I do understand that this one is a slightly different formula, but there are colors in these 4 palettes that are beautiful. I'm gonna go one by one so we can talk about more in detail. You know what? I think I'm gonna get the palettes out of the way and I'm gonna be talking about them as I pick them up from the side. Okay, I think we're good. So let me use this one so you don't get the glare from the light. So this palette, it's definitely a little bit more cool tone, but it has some, let me roll up my sleeves to give you some swatches. It has some very pretty colors like this berry treasure. I don't know what it is about like deep shades, like black shades when they have sparkles in them, but I really enjoy that type of shades, especially to do smoky eyes. But it has very pretty berry shades that honestly this one I haven't used yet. I have used this one, but this one I haven't used yet. But now that I picked it up, it's very unique. I don't have anything else in my collection like it. This shade right here, Hush Hush, I have used and I enjoy very much. It's kind of like cool tone, pinkish, mauve type of shade. I don't know if I'm describing it well, but that's how it looks like to me. And this one right here is just gorgeous, guys. This one, Bling Bling. This one I enjoy very much as well. This is Glitz and Glam. It's also a gorgeous shade. These kind of like these 3, Bling Bling, Glitz and Glam, and Ballsy, remind me a little bit of her original palette, but they are beautiful shades. They are beautiful shades. I definitely enjoyed those ones and I don't see a problem with their formulation. From the palettes in the vault, this one is definitely one of my favorites. I love these tones right here, these 4 shades, but I feel like I should use them more. To be honest, I don't use it a whole lot. I definitely should. One that I'm not crazy about, and it's just solely because of the colors. I feel like these colors are very deep. Oh, I didn't even say the name. This is the Bling Boss palette, the one that we were looking at, and this one that I'm looking at right now is Dark Magic. This one I'm not a huge fan of just purely because of the shades. These are not shades that I usually reach for, but there are a couple in here that I do enjoy. And whenever I need a palette with these sort of tones, I definitely go for this one. Looking at them swatched, I definitely see myself using these tones at least. But honestly, I guess I don't use them that much because as I said before, I'm not a huge cool tone lover. And these ones definitely are more cool toned shades, but they are also beautiful. I really like blues. And that one right there looks amazing. Yeah, I need to like pick up these palettes and definitely do more looks with them. On that note, if you see any palette or any color that you would like me to do a look with, please comment down below. I would love to do that. Leave me your requests and I will definitely film them for you. Moving on with this one is the Ring the Alarm palette. This one is very warm toned. It has deeper warm tones than the Armed and Gorgeous palette. Actually, I feel like I should put this one side by side since they are pretty close in tones. So from these two, I definitely enjoy this one a lot more. I have used this one more. This one is the Armed and Gorgeous. I keep forgetting the names of the palettes, so I'm sorry. And I do enjoy this one a whole lot more than this one. I don't know, that's my preference because they are similar but they are different. There are gorgeous shades in this one, especially this one right here, Coin. Can you see that? Like this one is VIP and this one is Coin. Can we even deal with how beautiful that yellow gold is and how intense is VIP? Oh, they're just awesome. And this one is a very unique, at least to my collection. The mattes here blend well and they go very well with the shimmery shades. As you can see, it picks up a lot. And the pigmentation, it's very good. I mean, you can see how insane these swatches look. And they look the same in the eyes because I definitely have used this one in my eyes and it looks awesome. I have a video using this shade Coin in my eyes, and I love the end result of that one. And I'm pretty sure I used this palette for that video. I'm gonna link it down below. Hopefully I remember, but I'm gonna link it down below if you would like to watch it. Let me give you some swatches of the other palette. This one is the red. It's a red, but it's more of a, I would say more of an orangey red. There is also a gold in this palette right here that is beautiful, but it's not as crazy intense as coin. And let me swatch one more of the shimmery shadows, and it's gonna be this one right here that looks absolutely stunning too. This one is Boom, and there is also brush marks there. But as you can see by the swatches, these palettes are gorgeous. I enjoy these palettes very much. Some people don't like to recommend them due to the inconsistencies, but as far as I know, that was corrected. I have a couple more things from Morphe. Let's do the original Jaclyn palette right now, since I was already talking about it. This is the original Jaclyn Hill palette. I have, again, the original one that came out, and I think it was in like 2017. I'm not sure. But this is the original formula, the original package. As you can see, it's well loved. I reach for this one from time to time. It has a beautiful, beautiful arrange of colors. I love this palette for wedding makeup, being that you are the bride or being that you are attending a wedding. I don't know what it is about this formula, but I really enjoy it. The colors in here are amazing. I don't absolutely love them all, I gotta admit it. There's some shades that I just don't gravitate toward, but that's just me. But anyways, let me give you some swatches in the meantime that I'm talking. There is everything in this palette. As you can see, you have like more reddish tones on this side, you have golds, you have neutral tones, you have more warm tones, you have pops of colors, you have the darker ones to highlight the brow bone and the inner corner. Honestly, there is everything for everybody in this one. I am gonna say that I am aware that they changed the formula recently, like about 2 years ago. I do not know about the new formula. I don't have the new palette. I have seen people's reviews or opinions on them, and as far as I understand, this formula of the original packaging was better, the one that they launched with. As far as I understand, people are saying that it is better, but I have heard that it's still good, that the palette and the formula is still good, just not as good as this one that I have, in other words. Here are some swatches. I did some swatches on a random place because I was running out of space, but here are the swatches. There are beautiful colors in this palette, but I am aware that people are upset that they changed the formula, hence some of the colors changed. In my very humble opinion, I would love to try the new formula because this palette really holds a special place in my heart, since this was the first palette that I ever purchased. Pretty much this was the palette that I had when I was learning to do my makeup on my own. The next palette I have from Morphe is the 35V Stunning Vibes palette. It looks like this in the inside, and I gotta admit that this one was more of an impulse buy because a lot of these neutral shades over here, I have very similar ones in the Jaclyn Hill palette and in the mini ones too. But this one kind of drew me in. That blue with, you know, glitter inside. Can you see that? That is just beautiful. And this one too, I don't have anything like this one in my collection either. But these two shades made me buy this palette. This one is more of a topper, as you can see. Like I would use it more with something tacky so the glitter can stick to my eyes. But there are beautiful shades in here that I don't have anywhere else, despite these ones over here. Like for example, some of these tones over here I do not have anywhere else in my collection, and they are still very pretty. These mattes over here, I don't think I have this green anywhere either in my collection. So there are tones in here that I really don't have anywhere else, and I have used this palette here and there. My problem is that I gravitate toward smaller palettes rather than bigger palettes, especially to do my makeup on camera, because they are more convenient somehow to me. I don't know, but I really like smaller palettes because I can use them for mirrors too. It's kind of hard to have bigger palettes sometimes to film, and it's kind of hard to travel with them and that kind of stuff. So I usually gravitate towards smaller palettes, but this one I really like. I love the variety in here, and again, there are colors that I don't have anywhere else in my collection. And the last palette I have from Morphe is the 39A Dare to Create eyeshadow palette. It looks like this in the inside. Now, this palette is big, my friend. I love this palette, but I do not reach for it enough. I would already tell you that up front. I don't reach for it enough. The only reason why I still keep it is because I do use it in the fall time, and there are some colors in here that again I don't have anywhere else in my collection. Like for example, this blue over here, I don't have anything quite like it. As you can see, Morphe shadows are magnificent quality. For the price, there are blues in here, which I love blues, which is why I'm pointing them out. But there are blues in here that I really don't have anywhere else. Even though I might have similar shades, I don't have the exact shades. I have been ready to declutter this palette many times, but I keep finding myself going back to it every time I need colors like these berries over here. Especially this one, I don't have anything in my collection quite like that shade over here. Let me give you a swatch. And this red, I don't have any red like this one. Can you see that? And it has a lot of intensity, you guys. This palette, it's really no joke. But I would say that it's a palette geared toward darker skin tones, in my opinion. These colors are quite dark even for transition for my skin tone. I struggle sometimes because there is not many really light transition colors except for these two that are a little bit different. This one is a little bit more neutral and this one is a little bit more warm. But other than that, the other transition shades are a little bit darker on me. So again, I think that keeps me from reaching into this palette. I keep doing swatches just because I keep looking at these shades like, wow, they're beautiful. But anyways, I do think that this palette is more geared toward darker skin tones just based on that. I find myself, I can use this palette definitely, but it's a palette that pretty much don't reach for unless I want to create an intense look. Like there is no going natural for me with this palette. Like I can go natural, I can use the brown tones or that kind of tones in here and that will be more of a natural look, but it will be kind of like a darker natural look on me, at least on my skin tone. On the subject of palettes perfect for darker skin tones, let's talk about Juvia's Place. I discovered Juvia's Place a little bit ago and you guys, I was blown away by this brand. Let's start with my first two palettes. My first two palettes, and they came at the same time, were these two. This one is the Masquerade palette and this one is the Magic. Let's start with the Magic. As you can see, this is definitely a colorful palette. One con that I encounter with this palette is that there is not enough matte shadows. I usually like an array of more matte shadows versus shimmer shadows, but you guys, I do not mind with Juvia's Place because these shadows are so intense. I must say too that some of the mattes in here are just too dark for me to use as a transition. I don't reach for this one if I want a natural look. I reach for this one knowing that I will create a colorful or an intense look. I am going to say too that this shade right here, Cassie, it's really exactly the same as my skin tone. Like when I put it on my eyes, I really cannot see it even though it's really pigmented, but on my eyes, I was out of frame I think, but on my eyes you really cannot see it, so it doesn't work for transition for me. The only thing that it works for, it's pretty much setting my concealer or whatever I use to prep my eyes, but it does not work for a transition shade. And the sad part about this is that it's quite a large size pen, which means that it's pretty much a waste for me because I do not set my face, no, I don't set my eyes all the time, and this is a lot of shade for that. Now, some of these shimmers, let me show you, are just insane. The pigmentation on these shimmers and just the shades as well. I just love them. They're amazing. Let me give you some swatches, and this palette is lighting all over the place because the other one is underneath it. This green right here, I do not have any green like it in my collection. Nowhere. This one right here, the Faso shade, oh my god, this shadow is like, that shade is, it's just beautiful. That's the first shade that I ever used from them because I was just in love with it as soon as I got it. Now the mattes on this palette are just as pigmented, so pigmented that they have stained my eyes, but it's just worth it. Can we even see that? Can we even see? Wow, like these shades are no joke, you guys. These, I mean, I haven't even mentioned that this is a very affordable price eyeshadow palette. This is a very affordable brand, so it's just awesome. I cannot describe it. This is another brand that in my opinion, it's all around good. Now moving on to the Masquerade palette, as you can see, it is also colorful shades. This one, you guys, that one right there is beautiful, and that's the one that stained my eyes. But as you can see, you get this section right here that is more neutral, so you can definitely achieve more neutral looks with this palette. But the same thing as the Morphe one, every time I go for this one, I know I will be creating some like darker neutral colors for me. Now by neutral, I'm saying like pretty much like warmer tones, but most of these are warms, but you get my point. And the same thing as the Morphe palette, I do not have shades light enough that I can do transitions with. From this palette, I love Giza right here. You can use it, if you have my same skin tone, you can definitely use this as a highlighter. It is awesome. This Dahlia right here shade, wow, I love this blue. It's so bright and so beautiful. It's amazing. Let me give you some more swatches. The formulation on these palettes are amazing. The formula feels very buttery, very smooth. They're easy to blend as well. I feel about Juvia's Place almost the same way that I feel about Alomar Cosmetics. It's pretty much a brand that I can trust, that I will like everything. In fact, everything that I have tried so far, which is like the palettes, all of the palettes that I have tried, I have just loved. Just like Alomar Cosmetics, this is a brand that I definitely recommend to try. My favorite palette from this brand so far is the Warrior palette. Oh, I love this one, especially in the summer. These shades right here just speak to me. These bronzy shades, brownish shades, this color right here, all of it, I love this palette very much. I feel like I can do a lot of things with it, even though it's a more neutral palette, but this shade actually does work for me for transition more than the one in the other palette. I forgot which one it was, but this shade does work for me. This one does work as a transition for me, and these ones are just awesome. This is the palette that once the warmer times hit, I really don't put it down. If I need to travel, I will pick up this palette and travel with it. It really doesn't let me down, you guys. I love this palette. Can we see those colors right there? Oh, this one is hands down one of my favorite palettes of all time. and it is definitely my favorite palette from this brand. And the last one that I have from Juvia's is the Nubian palette. Now this one is more compact, which makes it very convenient to travel with, but honestly I always travel with the Warrior instead of this one. I don't know why, but I do that. Now this one does have transition colors that work for my skin tone. It has lighter ones, it has some of the golden tones, and it has this berry tone right here. It has a copper one that is amazing. These two right here, the formula is a little bit more soft, but the pigmentation and how they look, it's amazing. Just you gotta be careful with them, because if you press too hard you will get a lot of excess product. Kind of like they're a little bit crumbly because they're softer. But anyways, you also have this road down here that you can darken the look with. This palette doesn't have that many mattes, but it just works for me. Hey guys, I'm editing this video now and I realized that I need to stop it right here. I don't know how I didn't realize this sooner, but this video is clearly getting way too long. So I'm gonna be uploading a second part very soon, so stay tuned in my YouTube channel. And for my future viewers, the ones that are watching this video once the second part is already uploaded to my channel, I will leave a link somewhere, either in the description down below, or I'm gonna put it somewhere in the screen. So yeah, thank you for making it this far if you have watched my video, and stay tuned for part 2 real soon. I will see you in my next video. Bye!